Hi, I'm Birdime.
Today we are talking about the new Home Alone movie, Home Sweet Home Alone. Won't spoil anything for you. I mean, it's a Home Alone movie. So if you really care about spoilers, then just don't watch the video. There's not much to spoil here. But the biggest thing is that it's actually, secretly, not a reboot. We'll get into that in a little bit. But we'll go through the entire movie and we'll review it at the end, giving it a score. But one of the biggest problems with the movie is that it felt like it was trying to do the 90s style movies, but also be modern at the same time. It also felt like a lot of modern comedy movies. So when watching the movie and hoping that it was going to be an actual good movie, and it wasn't just going to try to cash in on the Home Alone of past, it just felt bad when you're trying to do that. Like, trying to go in with a good mindset that it wasn't just going to be bad, and then it just was frustrating that it couldn't do its own thing. It just felt like every old comedy movie. Then at the same time, it felt like a 90s movie. And it really should try to give its own original feel of the movie. So it kind of early on especially hurts your like positive mindset going into it. And especially when most people won't have that, it just kind of crushes the movie from the beginning. And one of the things that also crushes the movie from the beginning is Jeff. Jeff is just... he's just, especially in the beginning, not a fun character to watch in my opinion. I don't blame the actor or anything like that. His acting wasn't bad. I mean, okay, the acting in the movie wasn't top tier throughout most of it, but it wasn't like awful, but Jeff is just, he's just problematic in the movie. He's just kind of annoying. It makes it hard to root for him in any regards of the movie. But before we get into the plot and why you would even root for Jeff, let's talk about the family dynamics in the movie, which, again, staying in the beginning of the movie, they really push the two families in the movie so hard. Yes, there's not just one family, there is two. Jeff, his wife, and kind of his kids, and his family that's visiting, which is kind of, they're just there for comedy. It's mainly about Jeff and his wife, and then the main family, the kid that gets stuck home alone, that's his family. And the dynamics are kind of weird, but they try to overbuild it in the first few minutes of movies. And some of the actors in the family of like the kid left home alone, his family felt like it was 10 families all thrown in one. They focused more on comedy than anything, and when it wasn't the funniest movie, like some jokes made you smile throughout the entire thing, it really just felt thrown together, and it felt like they just were hoping you wouldn't notice and just enjoy the weird families too much. But it was so noticeable, at least in my mind, that the families just felt like thrown together. So that's kind of the whole thing in the movie, is that we have these two families. Jeff, who's the house is kind of being sold in the movie because Jeff just hasn't worked in a while, can't find a new job. But then he realizes he has something in his house that is worth a lot of money, but he can't find it and thinks that the kid took it. But throughout this entire thing, because I know I'm going to get negative, I do want to say why it's technically not a reboot. And that's because they actually have a character from the original movie in it. And they also have other things from the universe, like McAllister, security, the pizza company's back. And they even have like some of the original scores. So actually, those points in the movie were good, but some of them were just kind of enforced. Unfortunately, like Buzz being the police officer, he just, like, they zoom in on his name tag, and then his dialogue later in the movie was like, they already make it very clear who he is, so it's kind of just like, it felt like it's trying a little too hard. And I might as well just go through some of the other minor flaws that appear throughout the movie. There's a lot of cringe dialogue that felt like it was just like adults trying to relate to like families and stuff like that, or try to relate to kids, like stepping on Legos. Oh, what's worse than stepping on Legos? And it's not just like the fact that someone's stepping on Legos, which is overdone. It like they always have to point it out, like Frankenstein's monster. Oh well, Frankenstein was not the monster, it was the doctor. And then it was also going to the old trying to be modern thing and not relating very well. The technology overload in the movie, and like it was so annoying. Like the BMW must have a TV screen in the car. There's an echo, like a fake echo. There's so much technology thrown into the movie, and you can just tell it's some sort of like rich dude trying to relate. There was also weird scenes throughout the entire movie. These dream type sequences. I'll let you watch those for yourself. Now we gotta reach the middle ground of the movie. There is no Home Alone-ish like slapstick comedy. It gets into like only one scene very late in the movie. Is there any slapstick comedy? And at this point, you're starting to root for the kid. Jeff and his family you're starting to get where they're coming from. I understand it. But the real thing you start to realize is that the little kid in the movie is never shown. He's very rarely shown in the movie. It felt like this kid barely got any screen time unless it was with the parents also in the same scene. So, I don't understand. So by the time you actually get to the hijinks in the movie, the whole slapstick stuff, you're kind of feeling bad for Jeff and his wife, because you understand where they're coming from, their motives, and the only thing you know from this little kid is that he thinks that they're going to kidnap him. So it's hard to really root for the little kid in this movie. And then the worst part is, the violence of the movie, the slapstick, the stuff that you come to watch for, is barely in the movie. And it was really annoying, and it didn't even feel like it was a Home Alone movie. It felt like they had this original idea for the movie, and then they realized, oh wait, why don't we have Home Alone slapstick into it, and make this kid home by himself, and then it's a Home Alone movie. But the last thing I would want to go before I review it is that the whole heart of the movie, the whole feelings, the message of the movie was actually pretty well done until they beat you over the head with it over and over again. And then when that couldn't get any worse and ruining the whole message of the movie, then they just straight up tell you. They tell you what the message is, ruining the entirety of the movie. And the entire feelings of the movie just gets ruined. But there is some nice jokes in it, there is some fun jokes in it. But unfortunately, it wasn't the best movie. I can see why some people may like it a little bit, or add it to the Christmas repertoire. But I'm giving this movie a 50%. It's not the worst movie ever. Definitely not the best. Kind of in the middle, the lower end of the middle. Unfortunately, I was really hoping for more. I was really hoping it would beat expectations, but it just couldn't. And that's all for now. I've been Birdime. Make sure to have a good night.